Good morning. Today we are going to discuss Module 2 of CE 2121 Measurements of Horizontal Distances. So there are different methods of measuring horizontal distances, and the first one is measuring it by pacing. So when we say pacing, this consists of the counting of number of steps or paces in a required distance. So in surveying, this means moving with measured steps. So one pace will be the length of a step in walk, which can be measured from heel to heel or from toe to toe. A stride now means an equivalent of two paces or a double step. So in pacing, we have to count how many paces or how many steps you have made in a certain length to determine your distance. So we now use your pace factor in computing for the distance, in which the pace factor is the length of a line divided by the mean number of paces. And once you know your pace factor, you can use this to solve for your measured distance. So to further understand pacing or pace factor, let's solve an example problem. So a 45-meter course AB on a level ground was placed by a surveyor for the purpose of determining his pace factor. The number of places or paces for each trial taken are shown in the accompanying tabulation. So from this table, we are to determine his pace factor or his PF. And then, if the surveyor now, knowing his pace factor, took 771, 770, 768, 770, 772, and 769 paces to determine the distance of CD. So let's solve for CD. And then assuming that the tape length of CD is 667 meters, determine now the relative precision of measurement performed. So to solve for this problem, so given these values again, for his pace factor, we solve for his average. So we get now 52 paces. So we add the means or the number of paces and divide it by the number of trials. So we get the mean pace of 52. So dividing now the length divided by the number of paces. So the pace factor is equivalent to 0.865 meters per pace. So this means that his step, or for every step he makes, it can be accurately or precisely measured as 0.865 meters. So next is to determine our unknown distance CD. So the total number of steps that he made was 4,620 paces. So applying now the equation of the pace factor. So the pace factor is 0.865 meters is equal now to the unknown length divided by the mean of the paces made, which is 770. So we get now 770 times 0.865, and it will give us 666.1 meters. So this equation, PD, just came from your PF. Okay, So it's just like your PF equal to the length over the number of paces. So if the unknown is the pace factor, then it's length over pace, and if the length is the unknown, you just simply cross multiply the pace factor to the and the number of paces. Okay, so C, determine the relative precision. So this is from module 1. Relative precision is simply equivalent to the difference in the measured and true value of the distance divided by the true distance. So the error divided by the distance. So the error now will be equal to nine over, so 0.9, so divided by 667, that will give us 9 over 670. So to simplify this, you divide the numerator or the denominator by the numerator. So that's 741. So kaya nakuha yung 1 over 741 na fraction. So you round it off to the nearest hundreds if it's in hundreds. So we can now say that the relative precision is 1 over 700. So next method of measuring the distances or horizontal distances is by taping or by the use of tapes and chains. So this now is also known as chaining. So we use chains or tape. So for the tape, it's a graduated tape. And for the chains, so one member of chain will have the same length as the other members. So you just count the number of chains that was used and you multiply it by the length. So that is now the measured length. So taping is an accurate method for direct measurements of horizontal distances. So the precision of taping is usually at 1 to 1,000 to 1,000 over 500 for ordinary land surveys. So basically, the use of taping as early as 600s, they were already using it, but they were using instead chains in measuring their distances. As early as 2000s, that is when the steel tape was commonly used. So nowadays, taping or the steel tape is a very common tool in measuring distance or measuring length. So the method for taping, so you stretch a calibrated tape or a calibrated chain between 2 points and you read now the distance indicated on the tape. So it's easy and it's accurate. So it's widely used in construction of buildings, dams, bridges, canals, and many other engineering projects as well as non-engineering activities. So next method is the method of measuring distance by tachymetry or tachyometry. So it's another procedure for obtaining your horizontal distances, and we use the stadia method. So we use here a stadia in measuring your distances. So it was introduced in 1771 by James Watt of Scotland. So During that time, tachymetry was referred to as micrometer for measuring distances. So the equation used for tachymetry is simply D is equal to Ks plus C. So this equation will also be used in the following modules. So for D, this is the horizontal distance. K will be your Stadia interval factor. S is your Stadia interval. And C is your Stadia constant, wherein it is equal to the distance from the center of the instrument to the principal focus, and the interval is simply the difference of your upper and lower stadia reading. So we also use mechanical devices in measuring distances. So the first three are more or less manual measurements, and then for this mechanical devices, we have your odometer. So it's a simple device that can be attached to a wheel for the purpose of roughly measuring your surface distances. Another is your measuring wheel, which is very similar to your odometer, except that it is more portable and self-contained device. So it consists of a small wheel which is attached to a rod and a handle. So you push the handle on the surface and the wheel will now turn and measure the distance. So a built-in calibrated recorder will automatically give a distance readout in meters and in decimals as your wheel is rolled on your line or surface to be measured. So it's very suitable in measuring distances along irregular and curved lines and boundaries. So here is an example of an odometer. So you have your wheels, you have your handle and your rod. So please take note to ensure that the measuring units are correct before you use your wheel, so you know what is your unit. And then the odometer wheels will have different units based on their manufacturer. So we now have your slope taping. So aside from measuring the horizontal distance, we could identify the horizontal distance of a line by using the slope. And with this, tape measurements now is made directly along the slope when your ground is of uniform inclination and is a fairly smooth surface. So instead of breaking the tape for every few meters, we simply measure your slope on the ground. So this is very practical, generally preferred since measurements could be made quickly and more accurately than horizontal measurements. So in breaking the tape, we would simply put or identify points in which we can simply measure your horizontal distances. So this is breaking the tape. So you measure this point until your final position, and then you add the measured horizontal lengths. In slope taping, in measuring the 2 points, so we measure the length now by placing your tapes in this points and read the reading. So with this, we can now solve for your length or for your height and your horizontal distance and your height, knowing also the angle between the horizontal and the length. So we can apply the horizontal length is equal to the length of the slope times cosine of the angle. And from Pythagorean theorem, we could also solve for your horizontal distance if we also know your vertical distance. In measuring lines or laying out lines, there will always be some errors committed using our tape measurements. So with this regard, we'll now be applying tape corrections, and this is now referred to as the adjustments of measurements due to the effect of the slope angle, the error in manufacture or the length error, the effect of temperature which causes our tapes to expand or contract during the process of measuring, and then the effects of sag and the tension or pull applied while measuring or laying out. So in tape corrections, we have 3 rules. The first rule is that when a line is measured with a tape that is too long, these corrections now will be applied by adding. The second rule is that when a specified or required length is to be laid out with a tape that is too long, then the corrections are to be subtracted from the length. And the third rule is that when measuring or laying out lengths with a tape that is too short, the corrections are applied opposite to those stated in the first 2 rules. Okay, so this is an example of your tapes. So it's usually in centimeters and in feet. So to remember the first rule or the 3 rules we have previously mentioned, we have a shortcut for it. So we have the slumps, in which when using a tape that are too short, for laying out, we add the correction. And if it is used for measuring, then we subtract the correction. So therefore, if we have a too long tape, then for laying out, we subtract. A too long tape, for measuring, we add the correction. So this is an acronym for our rule of tape corrections, SLAPs. So for corrections due to incorrect tape length, the absolute correction now per tape length can be determined as the difference between the true length and the nominal length of the tape. So the correction or total correction to be applied on the tape now can be computed as the correction or absolute correction times the measured length divided by the nominal length. And the correct length will be equivalent to the measured length plus or minus the total corrections. So CL is the total correction, CL is your correct line, ML is the measured length, and NL is your nominal length. So plus and minus will be applied depending on the type of tape that you have. So if you have a tape that is too long, it means that the nominal or design length is less than the actual or true length of the tape. Means the length is actually longer compared to the design length. So with this, the correction now is a positive value. And for tape too short, it means that the nominal length is greater than the actual or true length. So the computed correction will be a negative value. So with this, we apply now your slams. So if the tape is too short, it means you have to add it for laying out and you have to subtract it if you are measuring distances. So when applying your corrections using slams, you use the absolute value of the correction. The next type of correction that we apply in our measurements is due to the slope. So, when distances are measured along a slope or a natural grade of the ground, the tape distance is greater than your horizontal distance. So with this, we measure your slope. So as you can see, the horizontal distance D will be lesser compared to the slope distance S. So with this, the difference now between your slope distance and the horizontal distance will be your CH, wherein CH is your slope correction. So if we're going to use the difference in elevation H, then our slope correction may be derived now by Pythagorean theorem, and we will arrive at another equation which will be H squared over S plus D, wherein your S now is the measured slope distance, H is your difference in elevation, and D will be the equivalent horizontal distance. So with this, we can apply this correction for gentle slopes which are less than 20%. So with this, we can assume that the slope distance S is approximately equal to the horizontal distance D. Substituting S equal to D, will arrive at CH is equal to H squared divided by 2S. If we have a more steeper slope which range from 20% to 30%, expanding this equation will give us H squared plus 2 over 2S plus H raised to 4 over 8S cubed. For slopes greater than 30% or very steep slopes, we will now use the angle of our slope. So we will use these equations. Sine theta is equal to your height divided by S, and your horizontal distance over S is equal to cosine theta, and your CH is equal to S minus D. So expanding this or substituting the equations of theta to the correction due to slope, we will arrive now at the equation CH is equal to S times S minus cosine theta, or that is CH equal to S quantity 1 minus cosine theta. So another correction applied in our tape measurements is the correction due to temperature. So basically, when we measure our distances, there will be times wherein it is hot or it is a cold weather. So this weather now or temperatures will be affecting our steel tapes or the tapes used in our measurements. So with the effect of temperature, there will be either contraction or expansion. So we now apply our equation of thermal expansion. So therefore, we apply now CT, or the correction due to temperature, is equal to alpha times T minus Ts over L. This equation was derived from the thermal expansion equation from your physics. So CT, correction due to temperature, alpha is your coefficient of linear expansion of the tape. So this will vary depending on what material you are using. So T is your observed temperature during the time of measurement, and Ts is the standard temperature at which your tape will have its nominal length, and L will be the length of tape that was standardized. So another correction is a correction due to pull or due to tension. So if we're going to measure our distances between points A and point B, so this is your length required. If you're going to use your tapes in measuring this distance, depending on your pull, we will have either a sagging tape measure, which results from a very low tension, or we will have a very stretch tape, which is due to a very large tension. So based on this, there will be different errors from our measurements. And in order to correct this, we will now apply the equation Cp equal to Pm minus Ps times L over AE. So wherein your C sub P is the total elongation in the tape due to the pull or the correction due to your incorrect pull applied on tape. Pm is the applied pull or applied force during the measurement. Ps is the standard pull for the tape to have its nominal length. And L is the measured length of the line. A will be the cross-section of the tape, and E is the modulus of elasticity of the tape material. So again, your E will vary depending on the material of the tape. Another correction is your correction due to sag, which is related to tension or pull. So basically, if we will just support our tapes at different points A, B, C, so without any pull, our steel tape or our measuring tape will sag. So with this, the difference in length between our lines will form an arc, and the subtending chord will be assumed as a parabola and is computed with sufficient precision by the formula CS is equal to W squared L cubed over 24 P squared, wherein W or capital W is equivalent to small w. L or W squared now is equal to W squared L squared. So with this, we can now solve or simplify our equation as W squared L over 24 P squared. So the difference between the capital and the small letter W is that the smaller letter will be the weight of the tape per unit length, and this big W is the total weight of the tape between your supports. So basically, this is when we are going to use the total length or total weight of, this will be used for the total length or total weight of the tape. This is used if the given is the weight per unit length. So L is your interval between supports or the unsupported length of the tape in meters. So P is your tension or pull applied on the tape. So another in connection to sag and your tension, we have your correction due to normal tension. So with this, we assume that the correction of sag is equivalent to the correction of pull. So it means that the normal tension is the amount of pull required to make the endpoints coincide with the marked points on the pavement. So we try to ensure that our marks are on the right position. So CP is equal to C sag, or the correction of pull is equal to the correction of sag. So with this, we can now solve for our normal tension, Pn, is equal to 0.204 W, or total weight, square root of AE divided by the square root of the normal tension minus the standard tension. So to summarize the tape corrections that we apply in our tape measurements, so we have, for our application of the correction, for tapes too long and tapes too short, for our measured values, for tapes too long, the correction is added, while for tape too short, corrections for measured length are subtracted. Then we have for your layout or laid out lengths. For tape too long, they are subtracted and the corrections for tape too short are added. For temperature, based on its computed correction, you will be able to identify your length or tape if it's too long or too short, and then you apply now your slams. And for pull or tension, you will also apply your slams. For sag, it will always be subtracted even if it's too long or too short, so it's always subtracted. And for the slope, it is also always subtracted. For the sign convention, for your temperature, if you have a positive correction or computed correction, you will now have a tape too long. And if you have a negative computed correction, you will have a tape too short. And then for pull or tension, if you have positive, it will be too long, and for negative, it means it is too short. So whatever sign conventions you have solved in your corrections, you will always apply the absolute value when you are going to apply your slams. So to further understand our discussion, let us have some illustrative problems. So example number 1, we have a 50-meter steel tape that weighs 0.04 kilogram per meter and is supported at its end points and at the 8-meter and 25-meter marks. If a pull of 6 kilogram is applied, determine the following: the correction due to sag between the 0 and 8 marks, between 8 meters and 25 marks, and the 25-meter and 50-meter mark. B. Correction due to sag for one tape length. And C. Correct distance between the ends of the tape. So for the solution, so let's have here a diagram of the problem. So our tape is supported at the 0, 8, 25, and 50-meter ends. So we'll take now the weight or the unit weight per length of the tape at 0.04 kilogram per meter. The force applied during the measurement is 6 kilograms. So L1 is 0 to 8 meters, so that's 8 meters. We have L2 is at between 8 meters to 25 meters, so that will be 17 meters. And we have L3, which is 25 to 50 meters. That will give us a length of 25 meters. So to determine the correction due to sag for each span, we'll now apply the equation. CS, or correction due to sag, is equal to W squared L cubed over 24 P squared. So we're going to use the first equation for sag since the given is the weight per unit length. So for L1, substitute the length 8 meters. So we will arrive at 0.0009 meters, which is the correction to be applied for the sag between 0 and the 8-meter mark. Next, substitute L2 in the equation. So we'll have now a value of correction of sag for length 2 is 0.0091 meters, which will be applied to the length from 8 meters to 25 meters. And correction sag for L3. So substitute L3, 25 meters, and we will get a value of 0.0289 meters. So this is for the correction between the 25 and 50 mark. So these are the correction due to sag for each span or for each length. So for the next part, we have the total sag correction. So for this, we simply add up the correction for each spans or each length. So we get now CS, or total sag, is equal to CS1 plus CS2 plus CS3, giving us 0.0389 meters. For the correct distance, we apply now this value, or the total sag correction. So that will be 50 minus 0.389 meters. So we have used the 50 meter value since the total length of our steel tip used is 50. So that will be equal now to 49.9611 meter. So this is the correct distance of the measured length L. So we have problem 2. A line was determined to be 2,395.25 meters when measured with a 30-meter steel tip, supported throughout its length under a pull of 4 kilograms and at a mean temperature of 35 degrees Celsius. Determine the correct length of line if the tape used is of standard length at 20 degrees Celsius under a standard pull of 5 kilograms. The cross-sectional area of the tape is 0.03 centimeters squared. Its coefficient of linear expansion is 1.16 times -5 per degree Celsius, and the modulus of elasticity for steel is 2 times 10 raised to 6 kilogram per centimeter squared. So for this problem, let us summarize the given. So the length is 2395.25 meters. Nominal length of the tape is 30 meters. The applied length, or the applied force, is 4 kilograms. Applied temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. For the standard values, we have the force is at 5 kilograms and the temperature is at 20 degrees Celsius. We also have additional data. Area is 0.03 square centimeters. Alpha is 1.16 times 10 raised to -5, and modulus is 2 times 10 raised to 6. So to solve this, we have now the equation for temperature correction. Alpha L times the quantity T minus Ts. So substitute the values. We now get the total correction for temperature is positive 0.42 meters. So the positive sign is an indication that the tape is too long. And for our pool, we applied the equation quantity PM minus PS times L over AE. So substitute the values in the equation. We will get now a value of total correction for pool at negative 0.04 meters. So the negative sign indicates that the tape is too short. So we apply slams. So this is measured. So meaning for tape too long, measured is added. Tape too short, measured is subtracted. So neglect the sign conventions. So we'll have the correct length at 2395.25 plus 42.42 minus 0.04 meters. And this will give us a value of 2395.63 meters. So for example number 3, a steel tape weighing 0.85 kilograms has a cross-sectional area of 0.05 centimeters squared. The tape measures exactly 30 meters when supported throughout its length under a standard pull of 5.5 kilograms. If the modulus of elasticity of tape is 2.10 times 10 raised to 6 kilograms per square centimeters, determine the tension required to make the tape equal to its nominal length when supported only at the end points. So for this problem, we are going to apply our normal tension in which the correction of sag is equal to the correction of pull. So before we solve our problem, let us summarize our equation or our given. So we have 0.85 kilograms for the total weight. The area is 0.05 square centimeters. Elasticity is 2.10 times 10 raised to 6 kilogram per square centimeters. And the standard force is 5.5 kilograms. So the equation that we are going to use is P sub n equal to 0.204 times the total weight times the square root of AE over the square root of quantity Pn minus Ps. So in order to solve for Pn, since we have the two sides having the unknown Pn, we can solve this by trial and error. So let us try a Pn of value 16.75 kilograms. So we'll have now substituting the value in the equation, will arrive at 6.75 equal to 16.75. So meaning our assumption is correct. So therefore, the tension required to have the nominal length of the tape at support on ends is 16.75 kilograms. So next problem, 4. A 30-meter steel tape is used to measure a line AB. The measured length of line AB is 1123.88 meters. Given that the true length of the tape is 29.95 meters, determine A. If the tape is too long or too short, B. The total correction applied, and C. The correct length of line AB. So to solve for this problem, we now have the absolute correction for the length. which is your true length minus nominal length, which will give us 0.05 meters. So the negative value indicates that the true length of our tape is lesser compared to its ideal or its designed length. So therefore, the tape used was too short. So next, letter B, for the correction applied or total correction to be applied in our measurement. So we apply the absolute correction, 0.05 times ml over nl. So the total correction to be applied is 1.8731 meters. Next, we have for the correct length, we now apply our slams for tape too short, and for measured length, it is to be subtracted. So therefore, the correct length now is equal to 1123.88 minus the total correction 1.8731 meters. So the correct length now is equal to 1122.0069 meters. So thank you for listening. It is now your time to shine. Answer all the formative assessment in Module 2. Engage, elaborate, and evaluate.